Well, we found a deal we just could not pass up on Facebook Marketplace in some BF Goodrich KO2 37 by 12.5 17 tires. Now, normally these are around $400 each, but I was able to find a set of 4 for $350. They probably have about 30 to 40% tread life on them, but we're not too worried about the tread depth on them. These are going to work for a couple seasons wheeling in the snow, and the goal is to be able to get this thing on some pretty nasty trails out here in northern Idaho where we've had our first real snowfall. We also have a big opportunity coming up where we might have a trip planned with Austin Niemela and his newly built LS swapped FJ40. Now, he's been working on this thing for about a year and a half, and he just completed it. This thing is pristine, really nice. Check out his channel if you want all the details on the build, but basically it's on 40s, 1 tons, it's length. He's custom made everything on it. I've been following his channel for a while, and I'm really excited for the opportunity to go wheeling with him. So I decided I'm gonna name this 80 series Frankenstina because it's a girl, and I've pretty much cobbled together a bunch of 12 valve parts from different gens and got her running. So what we need to do today is get wheel spacers installed, get the tires demounted off of these 33s and the 37s installed, and then look at what clearances we need to fix as far as fenders, all that good stuff. We also need to attach our Apex 12,000 pound winch to the front of the frame rails here so that we can recover when we're off road. If you're not familiar with 80 series suspension, I'll give you a quick overview of how it works. Out of the box on these things, you have a lot to work with just from the factory suspension components. Up front, we have a solid front axle, which is connected to the frame with radius arms. The radius arms go into 2 bushings, which are connected to the axle housing. We have a drag link connected to the back side of the axle, which is connected to the steering components. We are coil sprung all around, but these front coils are on a 30mm spacer to compensate for the weight of the Cummins. On the rear of the vehicle, we have a 4-link suspension, which is really nice for articulating off-road. And then there's the sway bar, shocks, and our second set of coil springs. This is a rear panhard bar that connects the axle to the frame and allows for the axle to move left and right when going up and down. This is a later model FZJ80, so we have a full float rear. And then there's one of the 2 upper control arms. So we're 4-linked in the rear from the factory, which is pretty cool. We're actually not even on a lift. These are stock springs. I will be upgrading to a 2-inch lift eventually. So trying to fit these 37s on a stock lift will be interesting. There may be some trimming involved. These are 285/70 R17 tires, Pro Comps, which are pretty much going to be done after this. They don't have much tread left. We're going to need to use 2-inch wheel spacers in order to get the clearance away from the frame, as well as the intercooler piping since we have a Cummins in it now. Only area I'm really worried about is this fender well here. When steering, we don't have that much clearance between the tire and this panel. I found these wheel spacers on Amazon, and I know what everyone's thinking, all the horror stories with wheel spacers and wheels coming off, but we're gonna give them a try. These are the correct bolt pattern, 6 by 5.5, and the correct thread size. And very importantly, these are 108mm bore, which is really important with the 80 series axles because we need to clear this axle housing here. I know from past experience that there is a hub-centric version of this spacer that will not work. So as you can see here, there is no outer ring or hub-centric ring on these, and that's what we want. We want lug-centric. These are lug-centric rings, not hub-centric. Your stock studs will go in here and bolt in, and then these will be bolted to your wheels. And these are 2-inch. You can get them in 1.5 or smaller, but we want 2-inch to get as much of the wheel out of this wheel well as possible so that we can clear the 37s. The first thing we need to do is jack up the axle so we can remove the wheel and tire. I like using these OEM Toyota bottle jacks. I've accumulated 3 over the years and they just work. I do want to be clear that using wheel spacers is not a solution, and until I find a -38 offset wheel that I really like, this is just a short-term fix. The reason I'm installing these wheel spacers is obviously to fit the 37s, and even on 35s I've had the tire rub up against the frame, which we don't want. The wheel spacers come with this red Loctite of sorts, and you're going to put these on the lug nuts so that they don't come loose over time. So there's an obvious torque sequence where you go on a star pattern, and then these lug nuts that come with it go down in this hole as they're machined for that taper. And then we obviously put the thread locker, the red thread locker on these, and we torqued them down to 80 foot-pounds. They recommend doing a retorque in like 50 to 100 miles, so we'll do that eventually. But the wheel is on. I misjudged the length of these studs, and it looks like there's almost enough. I'm not even going to cut the next ones, but I did cut the end of these Method lug nuts because I didn't think they were going to clear. I was able to torque all these down to 80 foot-pounds. So on the next one, we won't be cutting them. We'll have to get a new set of lug nuts. But the wheel is on, and we have quite a bit of protrusion, which is what we want. So it actually looks a little bit more aggressive. It'll give you better center of balance as well, and increase your axle length. Again, we're torquing these down in sequence in a star pattern, and this is the first pass. I've already tightened them down a second time since the wheels have been on. This is where you have to torque it down to the right torque setting, because a lot of the horror stories are from people not torquing them down in the right sequence or to the right foot-pounds. All right, well, wheel spacers are installed, and we're getting a little bit of poke, a little bit of tires outside the fender flares there. I think I'm actually going to keep the fender flares on as I've measured, and we should actually be good. These are the 37s that I was talking about. These are BF Goodrich KO2s, great for the snow. These are actually like 36.7s, I think. And we've got probably, like I said, 30 to 40% tread left. Not great, but it'll work. So I'm hoping that we're going to be able to clear with these without taking the fender flares off. Let's load these into the back of the Land Cruiser and head over to the shop to try and get them installed on these wheels, and hopefully we don't get any rubbing. Can you fit 4 37-inch tires in the back of your Land Cruiser? Yes, you can. Even with the 10-inch tall drawer system in my last 80 series, I was able to fit 4 40-inch tires in the back with the second row seats folded all the way forward. For this build, I think 37s are going to be more than enough, and not too much as well. That perfect blend of rock crawling and overlanding. All right, so we got the old 285s taken off last night and the 37s installed, and this is what we got. I think the fitment is just perfect. So this is, again, just stock lift, no lift, just a 1-inch body lift to accommodate the Cummins. And we have plenty of room. Only issue we're facing is this rear area here. When you're at full turn, you'll contact a little bit. Not sure if I want to cut or if I want to take a hammer in there and just do a little bit of clearancing. But I was thinking I was going to have to take off the fender flares. I'm not going to have to now. I'll probably end up doing a 2-inch lift just because it'll make everything happier and we can get more articulation. We have about 2 inches on the rear part where the mud flaps were. We obviously took those off. And about 1 inch in between this fender flare accessory piece right here. We'll end up going with rock sliders eventually, but at least for now we have something there to protect the rocker panels. And you can see we have quite a bit of protrusion on the side with the wider tires, and then of course the wheel spacers. The exhaust, I'm kind of worried about contacting rocks or whatever when I'm off-roading, so I might have to figure out a guard for that. But overall, very happy. These will be great in the snow. Obviously, KO2s, Dirt Lifestyle just did a video on how great they are in the snow. And I do want to keep my center of balance as low as possible. The last Cummins swap Land Cruiser I did, I had like a 6-inch lift on 40s, and it was just a little too much. It was actually a lot too much. It was really cool, but I don't think I want to go that route with this one. I want to be able to take on some pretty nasty trails. And it's funny, like, it almost looks like it could be a stock look on it. And these are 37s. And they're KO2s. BF Goodrich claims that these are, I think, 36.78 or something like that. Show you that area I was talking about right here. So we do contact a little bit right there, but that's pretty easy to take care of. Probably just grab a hammer for that. For the intercooler piping, I full stuffed it and we had plenty of room. I might have to move those studs on the hose clamps a little bit, but we got plenty of room to turn these. So now just have to figure out a solution for mounting the winch again. We'll probably incorporate that Harbor Freight winch mounting bracket and then start to fabricate maybe our own bumper. Would you guys like to see that? I could just get an ARB, but I'd like to save money if possible. And then we should be able to go out and hit some trails with Austin Niemela, which I'm super excited for. Overall, it looks great. Super excited. Like I said, I'll probably do a 2-inch lift eventually, but this is a win. Now we can go out stone wheeling. All right, guys, well, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you all for watching. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one.